Welcome to Tamara Simon's Live, the Real Estate Power Chat. Today is episode 10, and I have a near and dear guest today, Kim Ades from Frame of Mind Coaching. And you're not going to want to miss this because she is a powerful, very impactful lady. So, as we know, first things first.
This is Tamara Simon's Live, where real estate agents from around the globe come together to grow, collaborate, and expand their business. Where we take our inspiring conversations and put them together to create dynamic connections. This is the Real Estate Power Chat.
Woohoo! We got through that. I was afraid I wasn't going to go live.
I love that. It's awesome.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today. I am really excited for my audience to get to know Kim Ades and Frame of Mind Coaching. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about Kim Ades?
Well, for starters, before I tell anybody about me, I just want to say how thrilled I am to be here, how thrilled I am to be face to face with you, and how incredibly proud I am of you and all that you've done over the years. I've been watching from close and from far, and honestly, you've just completely knocked me off my chair with all that you've done. So way to go, Tamara. So let's start there. So who is Kim Ades? I am an entrepreneur. I run a coaching company called Frame of Mind Coaching. I've been doing that for the past 18 years. I've got a team of coaches in Canada and the US, and we work with leaders, entrepreneurs, a lot of people from the real estate industry. And really what I'm interested in is understanding how people think, how you think, and how your thinking leads to the results you're getting. And I'm saying that in a nutshell. But essentially, we created a very, very unique way of coaching leaders that allows us to look at how they think, how they process things, how they experience things, how they interact with people, with life, with everything they hear, smell, taste, and touch. And that process allows us to understand how people are wired and how their wiring leads them to make the decisions they make, to take the actions they take, and sometimes the actions they don't take. But that information allows us to give them incredible coaching, enabling us to kind of clear the path and let them soar.
That's Leslie.
I know, I see that. Stop me. Hi, Leslie. We were just talking about you.
You know, it's kind of fun having you on here because before you came on, I was thinking, you know, we've known each other for a long time because I signed up with Frame of Mind Coaching clear back in 2008, I believe.
Wow. Those were the early days.
It was. I was like, holy crap, it's been a long ride. You know, a good one, but a long one.
Yeah. And I think you did it with Leslie. You were in the same group with her at the time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. You were leading edge back then. Who knew?
She said hi. This is fun. So let's go a little deeper into the way we think, because that was a huge journey for myself when you and I was working together. Because I always take the hard way.
Yeah. Yes, I remember.
But we always touched base on that the emotional resilience, how you build that up.
Yeah.
And you have this great outlook on how to work through that.
So, let's talk a little bit about what is emotional resilience, because I'm not sure that everybody really totally gets it. But so what is emotional resilience? Like, bad things happen to all of us. We all experience adversity, tough times. And man, like, if I look back on your life, you've had your share of tough moments. And so a person who has a high degree of emotional resilience, it's not that they never get kicked. It's not that they never fall. They do. But they have something inside of them that says, okay, I'm going to get back up with as quickly as possible. So they get up with speed and energy. And what they do is they bounce back from that adversity. But they don't only just bounce back. They say, okay, this was my experience. I had this experience for some unknown reason. I'm going to turn it into an advantage somehow. So I'm going to run with it. I'm going to turn it into something that becomes a benefit for me instead of something that, I overcame, something that's horrible, terrible, awful in my past. I'm turning it into a key success factor. And so those people who are seriously resilient understand that. They understand that their experiences are there for them to do something with.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how would you say, because I know that you did a lot of work with real estate. I mean, I think clear back from the beginning.
Yes.
Because I remember you had developed
a piece of software.
Yes.
It was an assessment tool called the Real Estate Simulator. And I think some of the real estate companies out there are still using it. I don't own it anymore. We sold it off to another company. And the idea was to help brokers find the right people for their organizations. And so at the time, it was a recruiting tool, but it was also a tool to help individuals figure out what they needed to work on. They might be really, really great at building rapport and opening doors, but they might not be so great at closing deals. They might get nervous or kind of hedgy around the close. So this would have helped them identify where they needed a little bit more tweaking, a little bit more work, and they would work with their broker or their mentor coach to, kind of get better in the areas where they needed a little strengthening.
Yeah, because I remember I took that test years ago, and then when you and I hooked up, I was like, holy crap, because I actually failed. I on that one, I had a broker tell me that real estate was not where I belonged.
Well,
and here I am, almost 17 years later, and I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, you clearly had resilience. And I guess your broker didn't underestimated you, right? They underestimated you and did not understand who they were dealing with. Clearly.
So let's talk about how frame of mind coaching can help real estate agents out there.
Yeah. So there are lots of coaching programs, right? And I'll go a little bit back in history. So I own this software company. We used to build assessments, and then I ended up selling that company. And right after I sold that company, I got hired by a coaching company in the real estate industry. And I won't name any names, but I got hired by this real estate coaching company, and their mandate was to help people live extraordinary lives. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's for me, right? Like that's really aligned with my values, my essence, my kind of purpose in life. And I thought that I'd really do well there. But I only lasted about 8 months. And I lasted 8 months for two reasons. And for me, 8 months was long. Number one is I'm an entrepreneur, and not all entrepreneurs are employable. They're not designed to work for others. That was me. But the second thing is that I observed how they coached, and I thought, I think that they're doing something fundamentally wrong. And I think that there's a better way to coach people. And so what did they do? They were working with real estate agents. So they took agents, they said, okay, let's create a business plan. And let's put all the things on your business plan that you want to achieve. And let's figure out how we're going to get there. And let's break those things down into manageable components. And as your coach, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to make sure you do all the things on your plan so that you're making progress and you reach your goals. It sounds perfectly reasonable, right? Great idea. Sounded great at the time. But then I started to think about it, and I started to think, hey, if I put 50 agents in a room and I ask them, what are the, top 10 things you need to do to achieve success? They could create a plan. They don't have a plan creation problem. They have a plan execution problem. So they know how to write a plan, but why don't they do the things that are on their plan? Is it because some other person isn't holding them accountable? I don't think so. Right? So they're adults. Why do they need someone else holding them accountable? What's going on here? And it has to do with the way they think. It has to do with the way they feel about themselves, what they believe to be true about themselves, about their competition, about the market, about prices, about the process of closing and finding and meeting people, about all of that, right? And I thought if I could get into people's heads and understand how they think, how they see the world, how they operate, and I could help them clean up all the garbage that's getting in their way, then I don't need to hold them accountable. I could just set them on the pathway, on the runway, and see them fly. Because what happens is people go through life, especially in the real estate industry, there's so much competition. It's like a very dense industry. And they go through this experience of tons of self-doubt. It gets tiring. It gets repetitive. You're pounding the pavement and not necessarily always making progress. And so you wonder why you're there. What are you doing here? You know, how come some people succeed and some people don't? And all that chatter in your brain slows you down. It all slows you down. And so I started to realize it's really not about holding people accountable. It's not about the plan. The plan isn't what's important, right? It's what's going on inside of a person that matters. And that is the stuff that slows us down. That's the stuff that's getting in the way. And that's the stuff that needs to get cleaned up. And so I thought, what if I could see how people think? What if I could read their journals? You know, people journal and they write their most private, intimate thoughts in their journals. What if I could read people's journals and see what they're telling themselves? Right? That would be a game changer. What if I could read their journals every day? And you know what else? What if I could read their journals and ask them questions? So it's this concept of you're journaling, but there's someone reading the journal and interacting with you based on what you're saying and thinking and feeling and asking you questions like, why did you react that way? Why did you feel that way when this person said that? Why did you give up? Why did you not give up here, but you gave up there? Right? Why did you get so mad? Right?
Yeah.
Asking all the
you
questions.
You were really good at asking questions.
Yeah, well, I was new back then. Imagine me now, right? So I thought if I could just see how people are talking to themselves, then what I could do is understand how people operate. I could understand what they believe to be true. I could understand how they feel about themselves. Because you know what? A person who lacks confidence in any industry, including the real estate industry, isn't going to succeed. And the reason they lack confidence is because of all the, let's call it all the bullshit they tell themselves.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't know if this is a PG.
That works. Show. You're good. You're
okay.
good.
So right. So we're always doing that. And so somebody has to find it and help you get rid of it so that you can go and really, really succeed. And so that's what I decided my job was. It wasn't to create plans or to hold people accountable. Like, man, I have 5 kids of my own. I don't need to hold people accountable. I have enough work on my plate, right? What I needed to do was to help people figure out a way to hold themselves accountable. And so that's really where Frame of Mind coaching was born. Just from this idea that it's the system is wrong. People know what to do. They're just not doing it. And the question is why? If I could address that problem, then I could really help people soar. That was my goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one of the things, even today, when I'm having conversations with agents and they're like, oh, these leads suck. These leads aren't working. And it's not that the leads suck. It's the fact that their follow-up doesn't happen. And it's whatever's holding them back from picking up the phone or reaching out to those people that reached out to them, you know? Right. I mean, so it's never, you know, I have to laugh because I always go back to that.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
You know, well, why didn't you do that? I mean, you spent this money to get these leads, yet you're not following up with them.
Right. But you see, those are the questions, but the question is, so what is actually stopping them? Right. So a lot of people, when they come to me, I just had a call earlier from an entrepreneur who says, hey, I'm looking for a coach who can make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. And it's not about what you're doing. What you're doing is like the last step in the process. What you do is a reflection of what you're thinking. And so it's not up to me to help you kind of like, hey, you better do this or else, right? That's not my job. My job is to kind of back it up and start with your thinking, start with your beliefs, start with your view of the world. When we can clean that up, then we can understand why you do what you do. And when you're thinking in a way that is aligned with your goals, then you naturally and easily do the things you need to do to reach your goals. Absolutely. We don't have to manage or control the action. We have to clean up the thinking.
If I remember correctly, you used to say you just need to dump the dump.
Right. So I used to tell clients, they would say, how do I journal? And I would say, it's easy. Just dump, and then dump the dump. So what does that mean? It means write everything that's on your mind. When you think you're done, keep going, keep dumping. And when you're completely done, take a step back and then say, okay, now it's time to turn myself around. It's time to dump the dump. Like, get rid of it. It's over. Stop dumping. Now turn yourself in the direction of your goals. Right? So it's okay to unload, but it's not okay to sit in your mire. It's not okay to sit in the mess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, because I listened a lot, because I remember going on those purges, and I still purge when I get loaded up and I'm just so full. Then it's definitely time to just purge and just whatever, and I just get rid of it.
You got to get rid of it. You got to get it out of your system, because not only does it sit, you know how many times, and I'm sure you do it, but you play the same story on in your mind over and over and over again. That's not helpful. That's not useful. So it's okay. Play the story on in your mind, then get it out of your mind. Write it down. Now you're free to look at it from a distance and make decisions about what just happened, how you want to move forward, what's the positive next step for you, right? But as long as you're churning it in your mind over and over again, it's inside of you. And it's hard to make decisions when you're bogged down. It's also not particularly physically healthy for you, right? It's just not healthy.
Well, the whole replay, and I was a good replay. I had replay on nonstop. There was never a stop button. And I always know when I reach that point, because I'm over here to this day, and I'll go, God, I need a key to shut this brain off. And that's when I know that I've reached the limit of it's time to purge.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get there. What would you tell someone that is got that constant replay in their mind, to begin with?
So like, the reason that we replay things is because typically we feel like they didn't go as we had hoped they went, right? So we're looking at the experience and we're replaying it because it's not settling. It's not sitting well with us, right? It's causing us internal disturbance. And so what I would encourage you to do is grab a piece of paper and a pen or a computer and write down what happened. And then ask yourself, what do I believe to be true about what just happened? What do I believe to be true? Write down everything you believe to be true. So let's say you got into a fight with your sister, and I'm picking that one on purpose, right? So let's say you got into a fight with your sister for whatever reason. Here's what happened. She said this, I said that, she said this, I did that, whatever. At the end of it, say, what do I believe to be true? You might say, I believe that my sister is mean. I believe that my sister is inconsiderate. I believe that she doesn't think about me ever, right? And then you want to go back and say, are those things really true? Are they really true? And you'll find that a lot of times our beliefs misguide us because we make them up. They're not actually true. We invent them. And so what we want to do is we want to start cleaning them up. What's actually true? What's actually true is we had a disagreement about this one subject. That doesn't mean she doesn't care about me. It doesn't mean she doesn't think about me. It doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean any of those things. So, right, this one incident happened and I blew it up, because we always blow things up. So let's put it where it belongs.
Now, yeah, so true. So true. So say we have an agent that has leads that are coming in, and they're rock solid, hot leads, but this agent does nothing with them.
Yeah.
So what would your suggestion be for that agent to do?
Well, you see, the question is incorrect, right? So we always, and it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's, this is what happened. What should I do about it? I don't want you to do anything. I want you to read back up and look at what you're thinking. So don't take any action. Back up and examine your thinking. What's preventing you from following up on this lead? Let's look at it very carefully and examine where the discomfort is. Let's examine what happens when you pick up the phone and make that call. Let's examine what you believe is going to unfold in that experience. Let's look at that. So there's no action, but there's an examination. It's a reflection, right? And really the question is, what do I believe to be true about this lead and about my ability to follow up on this lead? What do I believe to be true that will happen when I pick up the phone and call? So it's an examination, not an action, right? So I would never push someone to take action when they have resistance to that action, but I would examine the resistance and soften the resistance before encouraging them to take action again.
So that you could figure out and dial in on what's actually the reason behind that resistance.
What's the belief, right? Because our beliefs guide us. Our beliefs determine what we do and what we don't do. If I believe that the lead is bad, I won't follow up. If I believe that I'll pick up the phone and call the lead and I will stumble or I will get uncomfortable or I won't know what to say, I'm not going to call the lead. If I call the lead and there's a message, I'm not going to leave a message. I don't know what to say. They're probably not going to pick up their message or call me back. Do you understand? Like all that chatter slows me down, doesn't it?
Definitely.
All the beliefs I have about what's going to happen and what is happening determine what I do and what I don't do. So most times when you find a coach, they'll say, well, just do this. Here's your action plan. And I don't care about your action plan, right? There are 10 roads that lead to the same, ultimate point in life. It's not about the direction you take. It's about the thinking that causes you to take action or to be inactive, to not take action. What's your thinking? And is your thinking lined up with your goal? So if you get a lead and you don't follow up on the lead, but your goal is to make $1 million, right? There's a problem there.
Yeah. Just
your thinking isn't lined up with the goal.
Yeah.
And the question is why? And I see it all the time. Like we see leaders of groups of people, team leaders who are, want these massive, highly productive teams, but they think their teams suck. So if you think your team sucks, do you think your team is going to be productive? They don't go together. Those thoughts don't function side by side. They just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I still, you talk and I have flashbacks of, yep. I remember because I was a huge resistor and I know that there's others just like me out there that resist what they believe.
Well, no, their beliefs cause them to resist. What they're resisting is thinking in ways that will allow them to reach their goals more easily. So if I remember you were the person who had to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
You were not the person who could ask for help. You were not, right? And so you carried the weight of the world on your shoulders by yourself. That was Tamara. You had responsibility for everybody and everything. I remember.
Yeah.
Right. And you were good at taking responsibility, but then you became resentful. Why is it all on me? Why doesn't somebody help me? Yeah, this shouldn't be my responsibility. This should be some other people's responsibility. Right?
Yeah, it was so true. So true.
And so what happened? Like, the way that you set up your life was, I'm going to take everything on until I can't take it anymore. Then I'm going to fight with everybody.
Yeah. And then I'm pissed at the world.
Then you're pissed at the world. So was that formula consistent with your goal? What's your goal? Your goal is to have a harmonious relationship with the people in your world and to take some responsibility and to share responsibility. But the way you set it up didn't allow for that.
Right.
And that had to do with your thinking.
Oh, it was totally my thinking. And it was that thinking of no one can do it better than me because I had to have the control. And it was so freeing when I let that go, and the world didn't collapse.
The world didn't collapse and your load was lighter. And, you're right. You had a high need for control, and many, many people do. And when they can't have things exactly as they think they should be or as they want them to be, what happens? They get upset and they get resistant and they get grumpy. right? And then they say, why can't I reach my goals?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, not just in the real estate space, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs, don't you find that that's a lot of what holds them back?
Yes.
Is that
Everybody,
need for
every
control?
human being I've ever met in my whole life, the way they think isn't always lined up with their goals. And so it's the biggest challenge, because here's why, because we're not aware of our thinking. We have blind spots. We don't know how our thinking influences our actions or our inactions. We have no clue. We cannot see it. And that's why the way we coach allows us, from a coaching standpoint, to see. We can see what's hard for you to see by yourself.
Yeah, and you opened that up. So let's go into that. So how can frame of mind coaching benefit others? What does that look like for them?
Frame of mind coaching is a game changer. So it's not only about improving your performance, because it is, but it's about living, like, what's our mandate? What's our mission? It's to help people live a life of greater ease, peace, exhilaration, and joy. And when that happens, your sales increase, you start losing weight, you start having better relationships, you feel more exuberant, you're more attractive to the world, your love life improves. All of those things happen when you're thinking in ways that cause you to calm down and enjoy your life.
Yes.
Right? So it's not just that we help people, we work with entrepreneurs. We help them increase their revenues. We help them increase the value of their companies. We help them sell their companies. We help them hire the right people. We help them partner. We help them do all those things. But that's the outcome.
Yeah.
Right? When a leader is thinking clearly, when they're calm and relaxed, and when they're the dirt, the mess in their minds is cleaned up, and they can achieve anything they want. Right?
Oh, for sure.
And that's what we do. We help people clean up their thinking so it's easy for them to reach their goals.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, top 3 things that you would say to start with now. What is like the top 3 things an agent, should do, whether they're doing good in business or whether they're not doing so great in business? Where would you suggest they start?
So I'll tell you one thing. I think that a lot of people have no idea what they want. And I think one of the first things that I would do is grab a piece of paper and a pen and just start ask yourself a question. Here, guys, write this down. What do I really, really want more than anything? And then question number 2, what's getting in my way? What makes it hard for me to have what I want? So the first thing I would do is do that exercise. And honestly, if you're really bold and you're listening to this, send me your journal. And the reason why I'm offering it is because I know maybe 1 or 2 people might do it, right? But do it. So my email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. So again, you're going to write down, what do I really, really want more than anything? What does my heart want? Not what does somebody else want for me? What do I want? And then what is making it hard for me to have what I want? So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is I want you to start challenging your beliefs. So when you write down, why is it hard? That's your list of beliefs. So start challenging your beliefs. Say, are those reasons real? Are they true? If I say, okay, like I really want to, I don't know, grow my business. The reason it's hard is because I need money and I don't have access to money. Is that true? Is there no money out there in the world? Or am I not willing to do the things that it takes to get the money, to ask the right people? Or do I really want that? Or perhaps do I think I want that, but really I want something else? What is the truth here? So you're going to start challenging your beliefs. And number 3 is you're going to look around and you're going to say, what resources are available to me? Right? Because people who achieve extraordinary goals, they have a very different mentality when it comes to resources. What they do is they think, hey, any resource is accessible to me. There is no shortage of anything I need. There's no shortage of talent. There's no shortage of money. There's no shortage of help or assistance. There's no shortage of anything. There's no even shortage of time. Anything I want is at my disposal. And so what do I want? Look around and start to figure out, Ask yourself, do I deserve to have that? If you feel like you don't deserve to have that, you need more cleaning up to do, right? So those are the 3 things I would recommend.
Bravo. I think that's wonderful. And I know you're a busy lady, and I so appreciate you making time for me. And we definitely have to get together in May. So make sure you send me that information.
I will send it to you for sure.
Yes, because I can't wait. I mean, will it be in Canada?
Of course. Better get your passport together.
I better get my passport now.
You better.
So, but thank you so much. I think that there's so much value in frame of mind coaching. It really aligns with me. I journal to this day. I started and I never ever quit.
Amazing. I salute you for that.
I mean, we're talking. Should I show you? I even have hardbound journals.
Way to go. I used to have hardbound journals too, but now I use my own software and I journal online every single day with a coach for that matter.
Yep. And see, I should get back into that as well.
We should talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's so good to see you.
I love to see your face. I love watching you everywhere that I see you online because you could almost say I'm a stalker.
Great. I'll take it.
So, but thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. And I will make sure everyone has your information down. So if they take you up on that offer, your email is there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was amazing to see you.
You too. Thanks, everyone. And we will see you on the next one on Tuesday. Have a great day.